Well, hello everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our Faculty Spotlight series with the Gies College of Business. Today we have a really interesting guest. I think you're going to find her fascinating, along with her insights. She's Sandra Corredor, who is an assistant professor of business administration and associate head business administration. Her PhD was granted at the Gies College of Business in business administration strategy and entrepreneurship. She has a master's in economics and a bachelor's in business administration as well. Sandra, welcome.
Thank you so much, John, for having me. I'm very excited to be talking with you on Poets and Quants today.
So the first question I have is one I often ask academics because I'm intrigued by that chosen career path. And I wonder what inspired you to become a professor and how did you choose your field to study?
Sure. So I think that I have always enjoyed teaching. So I started being a TA since like I was in high school, I think.
Whoa.
And yeah, and actually seeing my dad himself teach some classes at a university, like that always inspired me. He was always very happy to go and see his students. So the teaching part, I think, came first.
And
But
what was your father's field?
so he was in chemical engineering,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So very different. But he always, I remember him always bringing up like these hands-on exercises for his students. That's something that I remember very vividly. Yeah, but then when I was like in business school myself, I was a teaching assistant for a business social responsibility course. And I got to see a lot of students that were taking the class participating in all these projects in at-risk communities, single mothers, subsistence recyclers, low-income schools. And I think that clicked with me really quickly because I was seeing how these students were using everything that they were learning in business school to have like real impact in all these people's lives, like at-risk people, community lives. So, they were learning things that were not written in books. So that
Yeah.
really stuck with me.
Now, do you have a favorite part of the job? Is it research? Is it teaching? Is it both?
So I enjoy both, but I am a teaching professor here at Gies. So teaching is like a very big part of my job right now. My research is a little bit more on strategy and more recently also into ways of teaching our students build their skills better. Mhm.
Ah, okay. So you're actually studying how people learn too.
Yes, I study for example, how can we teach our students be better negotiators, right? They negotiate a job offer, for example. And we're using exciting tools like AI and avatars and, chatbots. And we're just thinking about which of these methods help our students learn these skills better.
Oh, wow. What have you discovered so far? Is it too early?
It is early, but one thing that I can say is that when students are immersed, like in an avatar simulation, they are all into the exercise. So they are paying attention to the details, which is what matters at the end of the day when they are in these negotiation settings. Just paying attention to the details and they feel more comfortable going back and forth, asking for these like smaller things in their negotiation process.
Now, I'm a big proponent of high quality teaching,
Mhm.
and it's in part because of the impact that my professors had on me. And they really had a profound influence over my abilities and my decisions that I made in my early career. And I wonder, for you, what's the secret of being a great teacher?
Huh. That's a tricky question because I think that the devil is in the details, right? Like so, it's not one big thing. But if I were to summarize it, I think that students need to feel like their professors and their teachers care, right? And caring comes with so I am worried about who is making progress. I'm seeing who is paying attention and who is engaging and who is not. I have systems for tracking their success throughout the semester. because I teach large classes. Most of my classes are large classes, so it's easier in larger classes to just lose that connection, but making
Mhm.
sure that I have the systems to track them, and like bringing in like a level of engagement that they don't expect, perhaps, I think is one of the things that have worked really well for me, just to engage them in things that they don't expect, exercises that they don't expect, like little details would be what I say matter most.
True. And what kind of prep is required before you actually step into a classroom to be an effective teacher?
Oh yeah, so there are there well, of course, like the visuals need to be there, right? My teaching happens online a lot of the time, so there needs to be like a very clear sequence, like how am I going to tell the story today, and what are the 3 or 4 messages that I want students to walk away from this class with. So that needs to be clear on the slides, right? And if they are like for some reason they are not listening, they need to be able to see it on their screens. So that's important slides. And then I also need to think about the cadence, right? Like every 10 minutes, I need to just break the rhythm and bring something else. So I love bringing exercises, so that needs to be ready as well before class. So either small group discussions, or we're going to do a debate, or we're going to do like polls and Kahoots and competition because the students love to compete.
Right.
Or like these very hands-on things that break the monotony of a class, I think are important. Mhm.
Now, of course, chemical engineering is very different than business and management and entrepreneurship and strategy. And I wonder if your father has given you any sort of ideas about how to become a great teacher.
Absolutely. So when my dad was teaching, like I remember him like just making up a simulation, like it was like a whole oil refinery simulation exercise for his students. And I remember him working for months on that because it was like on paper and cardboard,
Mhm.
etc. Like we didn't have like really digital tools back then. But I remember him talking about that exercise and how much students were learning. So that's one of the things that I really took away from him. Now we have all these very cool and advanced simulations that students can
True.
just access from their computer. So I think that's a very effective way to learn. And that's something that I took away from him. Definitely, yes. And
Plus, I'm assuming your father taught in your home country of Colombia,
yes, he did.
where I'm guessing that higher education was much more formal than it is in a business school.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it is. So I don't think that many people were doing those kind of like classes back then, but back in the day in Colombia. Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yes.
when it comes to your research and strategy, I wonder if what you would consider to be your most meaningful discovery.
I think that in strategy, like the things that I research in strategy is how organizations reconfigure themselves. So I study divestitures and acquisitions and governance, like big governance changes that companies use to renew their innovation. So I think that what I consistently find is that the outcomes, in my case, innovation outcomes, depend less on the headline decision, right? Like, so it's an acquisition, it's a divestiture, it's this or that. Like, it depend that less on that headline decision and much more on the details on how they configure the deals. Like, for example, how much autonomy and how much decision rights are they allocating to each party? How are they sequencing the decisions within the deal? So those small design choices compound into very big consequences when it comes to
Mm,
innovation, for example. So I think that's something important. And when I translate that right into my more leadership training, purposeful leadership training for my students, I think that it's the same thing, right? So they cannot like rush to clarify the very big problems and decisions until they take care of the details of the small details and design.
right, because those details can unravel a lot. And in every deal, I
Mhm.
always say every deal, the odds are against every deal ever happening.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's a misconception that your students might have about your field, be it strategy or another area in which you teach? And how do you help them see it differently?
Sure. So I think that a big misconception is that students think that there is a right answer, right, or the right decision.
Right.
So there's no such thing as the right decision. So sometimes
See,
they
in
call.
engineering, see, your father, there'd be a right decision and a wrong decision, but not in management.
Absolutely. There are optimums, right? In engineering and sciences, there are optimums. In strategy, no, right? Like and in your personal strategy, there are not. Like each path, like you can build optimums in different paths, right? So students come often and say, just tell me what other successful companies or other successful people have done, and I will do that, right? No. So
Right.
actually that's something that I think I work hard to just say, well, no, this is a misconception. Actually, you can make your own path and make it successful depending on how you design it, right? Like how do you design your solution? Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that this generation also likes to have certainty about the answers.
yeah.
They dislike ambiguity.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No. So there is uncertainty. There is going to be uncertainty always, and you can build a successful path in any type of decision that you make. Yeah.
True. Now,
Mhm.
I wonder if there's been a recent piece of research, a book, or an idea that has recently influenced your thinking about your field.
So I say that I would stick with the classics, right? So I'm not sure, like it's not very recent, but for me, I find myself coming back to all of Clayton Christensen's work. So the innovator's dilemma, but particularly the innovator's solution. So is this emphasis on what is the job to be done, right? And what is the job to be done for your life, and what is the job to be done for your customer and for this company, right? Is I think it's really another way of, talking about problem framing. How do you frame the problem, and how you do think disruptively about the problems, right? So it is not the flashiest technology, right? It's not just thinking about the optimal, flashiest, fastest technology. No, it comes from deeply understanding your
Mm,
users, your stakeholders, the needs of the humans that are involved, the needs and incentives of the humans that are involved in that problem.
true.
So
Yeah.
I think that's been very influential for me.
Now that's great. What's one real world implication you think of your research that you wish more business leaders understood?
So I think that maybe we have already talked about this, but managers spend a lot of time thinking about bold moves and less about details. So they leave the details to other
Right.
people, right? But they underestimate like how those post decision design details shape outcomes. So how much autonomy, what signals are sent to these type of stakeholders, right? So like from my research, I learned that like the misalignment between bold decisions and then details can erode innovation and other outcomes. So at the human level is the same things, right? So your skills have to be designed and practiced, like not only make the bold decision, but make the purposeful like design of details. I think that matters. Mhm.
Now, you see people at the early stages of their life, essentially in college,
Yes.
who are about to embark on their journey in the world of work. What's your best advice for them?
Well, the best advice that I give them is, especially if they are this young, is to try things, right? Like try these different paths because that's the only way that they will really be able to craft all these different sources of purpose in their lives. We talk about how purpose is multidimensional, so you need to really work on your different dimensions, right? Just to find your path. So I am also a very big believer in experiential learning. So you learn
Mm.
through like by doing.
Yes.
So do it. Like you like something, go take a class, go talk to someone in that industry. That is like the main focus of the class that I teach. That is like the capstone class for them.
Ah, right.
Mhm.
That all makes sense. Go out into the world and talk to people who are already doing what you may want to do and really find out what it's like and experience it vicariously that way. Now,
Exactly, yes.
Sandra, I'm going to make you the dean of the day, and I'm going to ask you to finish a sentence that really is a question that deans of business schools ask themselves on a regular basis. Here's the sentence. The business school of the future would have more of what? Blank. The business school of the future would have more of blank. What would blank
I
be for you?
Yeah. So I would say the school of the future would have more purposeful, technology-driven experiential learning. And I
Ah,
believe in scale, so in access. So maybe purposeful, technology-driven experiential learning so that more people can access these skills.
learning by doing is very powerful, and clearly you're an advocate of experiential learning. And Sandra, thank you for joining us today.
I thank you so much, John. It was amazing talking to you. Always, Poets and Quants is an amazing ally for us. So
Thank
very
you so
happy to be
much.
here.
Thank you so much. So we've been speaking with Sandra Corredor, who is at the Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. She teaches strategy and leadership and has an interest in entrepreneurship as well. And this is part of her Faculty Spotlight series for Gies College of Business. Thanks for joining us and look out for other parts of our series. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.